something that you cannot deliver. A promise is almost like a sacred oath. If you break a promise to somebody, if I promise you that I'll meet you at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I need to be there. Even if, unless there's some horrible thing that happens, I will be there. If you break a promise, then you lose credibility. That's the quickest way to lose credibility with someone, is to promise them something and then not deliver. Because they will never trust you again. If you break a promise, they'll never believe you. And if they don't believe you, they will never feel safe with you. What we want to do is feel safe with all the people around us. And if they don't tell us the truth, we can't feel safe with them. We can't. We can't trust them. We can't share our problems with them. So extreme language would be words like, nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'll never get a good job. Ukraine will never be a good country. Okay? We want to get rid of those words and replace them with words that are less extreme. Like Ukraine has some problems. Someday it will probably be better. Okay? If we use extreme language, then we start falling into extreme holes. So we want to change the language that we use, because that will determine our mood and our feelings, okay? So let's avoid extreme language. There are two problems. What are the two problems in any situation? The two problems in any given situation are what? Let's say you lose your job. There are two problems here. The first problem is you lost your job, right? The second problem is
No, what's here?
how you think about it. How you think about losing your job. What? What did you say? Yeah, you said something.
Either regret or not.
Okay. Yeah, the first problem is you lose your job. That is, that's the problem. But what gets people in trouble is not losing their job. It's how they think about losing their job. Because I was in a situation once where two people in our company lost their job. It was me and somebody else. All right. I went home and said, hey, I lost a job. It's okay. I can find another one. I didn't like the job anyway. Where the other person went into a panic. What am I going to do? I'll never get another job. Okay? So there's always two problems. There's the problem and how we think about the problem. And I will tell you this, how we think about the problem is the biggest problem. It's not the problem itself. It's how we internalize that situation. Okay? That is the basis of cognitive therapy. How are we doing for time? What time is it now, by the way, anyway?
It's time to finish.
Well, okay, because I only got about a little bit through the slideshow. The attribution is another big thing that we do. What our brain is trying to do here is it's trying to figure out why somebody does something, okay? Where I was trying to explain somebody's behavior, okay? And I don't necessarily want to go into this, but someday I think I would like to do a presentation on biases. Because we are programmed. These biases are like internal programs inside of us. And can anybody give me a bias? Can anybody tell me about a certain bias that we have? Some biases. Can anybody name a bias? There's about 200 of them, by the way.
Can you explain what it means?
A bias is a preconceived idea about something. For example,
Stereotype?
well, it's a little bit in that direction. I'll give you an example of a bias. Here's what we call the impact bias. Impact bias is basically that we think that a future event will have a better impact on us than it really does. For example, people who think they if they win the lottery, that they will be very, very happy. That is their thinking. If I win the lottery, I will be very, very happy. It will change my life forever. The reality is that when people win the lottery, they're happy for 1 or 2 years. And then their happiness level goes right back down to where it was before they won the lottery. They think if I get married, if I find the right person, I will be happy. Well, they get married, and they may be happy for a while, but then their happiness level goes back down. So future events do not affect us as much as we think they will, okay? That's impact bias. But what I'd like to do is maybe talk about biases at another time, because there are a lot of them, and I need to go through these well. But let me ask you this. Do you guys have any other questions about thinking and how to think a bit more clearly? What are some of the things that you might do to think a little bit more clearly? Anything?
Try to see like different sides of the situation.
Yeah.
Basically,
Yeah, try to see a situation from a different angle.
to think outside the box.
Thinking outside the box. Being creative. Okay. Other questions that you guys have, and by the way, what are we going to talk about next week? What's our topic? And are we going to have a class next week? The next
Next week is the next one. Next one is the second one, yes, we're going to have next.
All right, yeah, because we're thinking about there might be, now, wait a second, today is a celebration day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Soviet Army Day, right? Everybody should buy me a beer, okay? I know nothing about the Soviet Army. So it's a holiday today, but I got a few messages on V-Contact. I'm wondering why these messages were sent, and I figured it out eventually. You know, guys, I'm trying to figure out exactly how to run this class, what to do, what you guys need. What do you guys need to be happier, more successful? What do you need? What would you need?
Happiness.
Yeah. I mean, something that we can do, something we can talk about that might help you in your personal life.
About keep of my brain.
Keep your brain? You need to keep your brain. That's it.
Yes.
I mean,
About any interesting information about opinion, about people, about. So I take many things.
okay. Well, let me ask you this, guys. What? Go ahead.
For example, how to argue to people.
I know how to argue.
Yes, we know how to argue.
Okay. Yeah.
How to stand in your positions. How
Okay.
to feel safe.
So self-confident when
Yeah.
the circumstances are not the way.
Yeah. I think
How
that.
always to wins a battle between.
Well, first of all, you've got to be careful with winning, because you have to acknowledge that maybe your position isn't always the right one, and I kind of
yes,
talk to you about that. But the best way to win any argument is to know a lot about what you're arguing about. If you have the material, if you have the proof, if you know what you're talking about, and you have the facts to back it up, chances are you're going to do well. Now, I think what you might be talking about also would be debating and public speaking. How does public speaking sound to you guys? What about doing some public speaking? I can teach you about public speaking. Is that okay?
Yes.
I can give you, and maybe we can do that next week. The other thing that we want to talk about is happiness. How to be happier.
We are.
You're pretty happy. I know you're happy because you had a very nice piece of cake. Okay, I'd be happy too if I could eat that. But what else do you guys want to talk about in this class? Because I'm open to anything.
Controlling emotions.
Damn it, I don't. Oh, sorry.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes. I've got a weird sense of humor here. I scared myself. Okay, controlling emotions. I think we can talk about emotions in general. Anger. all of the emotions. And remember, emotions are either pleasant or unpleasant. There's no such thing as a neutral emotion. But there's a lot of argument and disagreement over how many emotions we actually have. There's primary emotions and secondary emotions. And some emotions are a little bit obscure, like the emotion of disgust. A lot of people do not say disgust is an emotion. Or guilt or shame. Some people say those are not emotions, they're feelings. And just to be able to separate feelings from emotions can be very difficult. Okay? So, but we can talk about emotions and how to control anger. I didn't mean to scare you, but you know, sometimes I do stupid things. Okay? But yeah, emotions, being able to regulate your emotions, and a lot of that also is cognitive therapy. It's just changing your thinking a little bit, and if you can just change the way you think, your emotions change a little bit, and also just this, what we call internal talk, the messages we send to ourselves. And 24 hours a day, our brain is working, we're talking to ourselves, it's called thinking, by the way, and it's the messages we send to ourselves all the time that will influence the person we are, okay? So we want to be able to send good, healthy, positive messages. And they should be realistic. We don't want to be too hard on ourselves. A lot of people are too hard on themselves. They self-criticize too much. We shouldn't do that. So public speaking, happiness, controlling emotions, all of those would be very good topics. And what I want to be able to do is get you guys talking more, because this is a discussion group. It's not Jimmy Hill telling you what to do. All right? Because you guys know as much about this as I do. The only difference is I speak English as my primary language, okay? If you guys spoke English as well as I did, and I don't speak English that well, you guys would be able to run these groups too. And if anybody wants to run a group here, you're welcome to run a group. You might have something really important to share, and I would love to be a student too. So if anybody wants to take over, then you're welcome. But I'm here to help you guys and listen to you, and hopefully we can grow and learn together. And just give me a chance, and we'll make some progress together. Okay? So, all right. Does anybody know the time?
Yeah, this is 5:40.
All right. So I need to get moving because I have another class. But I don't know. Now, some of you guys came from me. Some of you guys are ALMA students. I don't know what the...
We're making the list.
All right, yeah, I don't know what the situation regarding, you might have to, okay. But anyway, we'll figure it out, okay? And just take care of yourselves. And next week, should we agree on public speaking? You want to do public speaking?
Yes.
All right, and I may ask you guys to do a little public speaking next week, okay? All right, so, all right, I'll see you guys next week. Thank you for coming, and stay dry.
Please, if you need to put your name on the list, please do that, okay?
Документы селёчки.
Video on our website and also in contact page. You know, is that our name? Yeah, on this group, on the street. It's in place, anyway.
What is your name again?
Do you remember me?
Well, your face looks very familiar. What is your email? Oh, yeah, I met you you were the one that was with your friend, and we met in the old town, and I think you're studying business, or you wanted to go to Germany or something, or? Yeah, gotcha, yeah, I remember that. I just wanted to make sure, I thank you for coming. Well, and you come whenever you want, and whenever you want, and I'm here for everybody. I'm just here to try to share my knowledge. We're being filmed. I hope they cut this part out, okay? Go away.
It's working?
I guess so, I don't know. I think Arthur is probably smart enough to take this part out, right, Arthur? I don't know. But hopefully they won't have this part on. But I think this is the last one we're gonna take, the rest of it we won't take.
Yeah, so like
But that's okay, no, it's all right, it's just,
you gave me a call.
you are a motivated person,
I
you
read
are,
my video.
obviously.
I'm not sure about this.
No, you are, I wouldn't come if I didn't have to, but no, you're doing well, and I think you're doing so far in life. You have a, no, don't say that.
Don't say that.
No, because you're here, I mean, you're not lazy. Don't worry. I will help you. You'll probably end up helping me. In the end, you'll probably end up helping me. Yeah, we are starting those on the 4th. Yeah, yeah. Hopefully, it's a little disorganized. But we will meet up at the university and then find a classroom. Michael Walensky is the one organizing. It's a very good price, by the way. It's really good.
So I should ask the guy in this.
Yes, I would go up to that room, that I think it's 434, and there's a secretary there, she should know all the information. And you can pay them, I'm doing editing for them, and because they can't officially pay me because I'm not or I'll probably say, now we got you. But they can't officially pay me, so they're doing this for me. I do editing, proofreading for the books, audio recordings, and then they do this for me. That's the trade. But then you are an amazing person. You are amazing. I feel it. I feel it. No.
Світло.
Ці відео кудись попадають?
Там у нас на
Ти що, не бачила? Ти не видела відео?
цьому.
Да, я не видела відео.
Yeah, how